facets of your team do you think, or do you know that you can hang your hat on that this team will excel at, or do you know yet?
I don't know.
Okay.
We've worked on everything, Clay, and I don't know. We'll play our first game, and then I'll give you a better answer.
Very good.
All right. Next question goes to Brian Hedger. Go ahead, Brian.
Building off that, just really quick. I mean, how different is that than a normal year to kind of have that uncertainty with the facets of the game and stuff like that, going into that first game?
It's no different than a 3-week camp. You guys ask me the questions, I probably give you the same answer every year. I don't know until we play the games. I can't give you an answer. We've worked on everything. The last thing we have to work on, we have a meeting about some face-offs tomorrow morning. But we've worked on everything. So nothing's changed in my mind, and where I can't make a judgment on what we're good at, what we're not, until we start playing some games.
Yeah. I had another one on Seth. 5 years you've had him, I think 4 or 5 years. What areas, when you first got him, were there areas that stood out right away where you're like, wow, this guy could be really a special player if we work with him? And how much better has he gotten, in the time that you've had him?
Yeah, the main point, and I remember early on, you could see it. He kind of, it took him a while to get involved in the games. I don't think he was ready to play when the game started. The competitiveness, everything about it. He wasn't ready to play. And so that was one thing that stuck out to me, but that was cured pretty quickly. And he is, how I feel about him. He has progressed into a level that it's fun to be around each and every day and watch him play, both offensively and, more importantly, where he doesn't get enough credit, defensively. And so he's a huge piece here.
The last one from me is Mikko traveling?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Next question goes to Aaron Portzline. Go ahead, Aaron.
Thanks, Glenn. Thanks, John. John, we've talked, I think, larger picture about your offense as a whole, but specifically the power play. How do you create a new attitude with the power play? I know you've got some new personnel, but you seem to be creating or trying to create sort of a freshness of forgetting of what's gone wrong and optimism with that group.
Yeah, well, I think your power play, and I'm not sure which goes before what. I'm not sure which order. If you're feeling it in the power play, you score some goals on it, you make some good offensive plays, does that help the individuals that are on that power play, their 5-on-5 play? Or does it, if they loosen themselves up 5-on-5 and then make some plays there, does that help them in the power play? I don't give a damn what order it is. I just want them, I want them to feel good about themselves offensively. I want them to try different things offensively. We have different personnel. Does that put an infusion of some plays being made, maybe some seam plays or whatever it may be? We're just looking to try to generate confidence right away. And again, I'm not sure which order it is. I don't care what order it is, as long as we gain some confidence offensively as we start the year.
Yeah. Grigorenko's a guy that can play all 3 or 4 positions. Why the move to put him on the left wing and Texier in the middle instead of just putting Grigorenko in the middle?
Yeah, I thought that line, when I put Grigorenko with Luke and Bjorkstrand, I thought they had a good scrimmage the other night. I thought there was some chemistry right away. I still want to take a look at Tex in the middle. Kind of him and Jens together. It'll be interesting as far as how much pressure they can put on a D, as far as how hard they work. So that's what we'll start with. It's nice to have a Grigorenko who can play all 3 forward positions. I think his camp is getting better as we've gone on. Biggest key is intensity all the time in a 60-minute hockey game. I'm anxious to see him play.
John, do you know how you're going to utilize your taxi squad?
No idea. No idea.
No, I don't know if you have.
I don't even. I'm still trying to figure out. The taxi squad's it's a weird thing. You got to get your kids playing in the minors. You don't want them sitting on a taxi squad. But then when you want to play, you may want to see a kid, but the quarantine, all that comes with it. I'm still just trying to figure out the starting lineup, and then somewhere along the way, I'll get to the taxi squad.
Yeah. And just one last question for me. How important do you feel like it is at some point this season to get a look at Texier at center ice, a lengthy look competitively at Texier in the middle? Do you feel like you need to get that out of this season?
Yeah, I don't think there's a timeline on it. I want to see him there. I keep trying to get him there, and then something happens. With Mikko being out, this gives me a really good opportunity to look at him. I'm still not exactly sure of all the 4 lines, Fortsy. So I don't want to put a timeline on it. He's still a young man. I want him to stay healthy. I think that's key. He's got to play some hockey. He missed so much hockey. And then we'll just attack it as the way it comes our way.
Is Koivu going to be a while? Do you know?
I have no idea.
Okay, thanks.
Next question goes to Dave Menzel. Go ahead, Dave.
Hey, Torts, just going back to the offensive question, you scored a lot of goals in those 2 scrimmages. What, if anything, can you take out of that? Does any of that apply, or will any of that apply? Or are you just optimistic that it will?
Yeah, those scrimmages, Jesus, I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy. Ask the offensive guys who scored the goals. It's so, those things are so frustrating for a coach because you need to do them. You need to have dress rehearsal. I think the 2 night games really helped us. I like the format we had in one period being special teams. I think we've gotten a lot of work on both power play and a lot of penalty killing too this year, because I think there's going to be some new bodies in the penalty killing. I'm happy about that, but what you take out of the scrimmages, God, I don't know. You'll have to ask them how they feel about it.
Was the emphasis there, John, to tell those guys to unleash themselves offensively a little bit? Or does that just come naturally to them? Or how do you let that unfold?
I think that's going to unfold during the regular season. I think it's going to unfold on how they're coached and how I think it's a two-way street, how they're coached and the liberties we're trying to give them, but also not losing yourself and understanding situational play. You're going to hear me talk about that a lot here. I can tell at the beginning of the year when you're trying to change your game a bit, situational play is still very important, and where you know it's just a bad time to be making mistakes at the offensive blue line. It's about getting pucks in deep and trying to get momentum your way, back your way. All different things come into play. Those are the 2 things: is liberties versus situational play, and we're going to have to try to find a common road there with coaches and players.
Thanks.
Okay, go back to Aaron Portzline. Go ahead, Aaron.
Thanks, Glenn. John, this is a weird season schedule-wise for sure. How far out can you go with your goaltending schedule? How far out do you tell those guys who's starting when, or is it a weekly thing?
I told the starting goalie today who's going, and that's as far as we'll ever go. I mean, we just don't go too far out. But I'm going to tell you, you guys are going to ask me about number 1, and there's really not going to be a number 1. It's going to be a tandem. So kind of cluing in on that. There's going to be a tandem here because I think we have 2 really good ones, and we're going to need them with the schedule, how it presents itself. We're going to need both of them right on through this. So that
I'm
might
required by code to ask who's starting Thursday in Nashville.
Yeah, you're not getting it by what?
By code, reporter's code.
40's code, yeah.
No, reporter's code, not my code.
Reporter's code?
Yeah.
I got a few words for the reporter's code on a few
Go
other
ahead.
things.
Go ahead.
Leave that alone.
Go ahead, my recorder's on.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Am I done?
No, one more.
Before I get myself in trouble here.
Go to Clay Hall. Go ahead, Clay.
George, you probably addressed this. Do you like playing a limited number of teams, a bunch of games? Was it 8 apiece?
Yeah, it doesn't matter what I like. It's what it is. I'm not going to give you my preference. I think everybody knows what everybody's preference is, but this is what's been done by the league. After watching how the league handled themselves as far as the bubble, I trust what they're doing here, and this is how we're attacking it. And there's no sense of worry about preferences.
Right.
Whatever's put on your plate each day, you gobble it up and try to do it the best way.
will that then resemble a playoff series, or you don't play them that many times in a row?
I don't know. I don't know how it's all going to work out. We've never done it this way in regular season. And I don't think you can compare this to the bubble, because the bubble's the bubble. This isn't a bubble. And we're getting ready for our first game against Nashville. We know we have a 2-game stand there. And that's all we're concerned about is that club right now.
All right. Thanks, everyone.